Good afternoon and welcome to Today on BayTV. We're live in Swansea on Tuesday the 27th of June 2017. I'm Gaina Morgan. I've been joined by Robert Llewelyn Jones, and Richard Beale and Andrew Morgan, our resident Ramblers, are with us. But before we have a look at what happened on this day in history, perhaps we can have some music from Sam Couch.
Captured effortlessly, that's the way it was. Happened so naturally, I did not know it was love. Next thing I felt was you holding me close. What was I gonna do? Let myself go. And now we're flying through the stars. Hope this night will last forever. I've been waiting for you, it's been so long. I knew just what I would do when I heard your song. Fill my heart with your bliss, give me freedom. I knew I could not resist, I needed someone. Make a wish upon a star, hope this night will last forever. Makes me happy, makes me feel this way. Nobody loves me better than you. All in all, you're just another brick in the wall. All in all, you're just another brick in the wall.
Thank you so much. Lovely way to start the show. Now, before we look at what happened on this day in history, Robert, I think we've got some breaking news, haven't we?
Well, yes, the news is that the Cabinet Secretary for the Economy and Infrastructure, Ken Skates, has rejected the proposals for the Circuit of Wales up at Ebervale.
That wasn't expected, was it? Well, I'm sure.
I didn't think it was going to be accepted, but
we can talk more about that in the news and newspapers in part two. But quite a shock. Now, I think we can talk about on this day in history, Robert.
Go on, then. Go on.
In 1954, I think it was 1954, June 27th, the first atomic power station was opened. Did you know that?
Yes, in Russia.
Yeah, Obninsk, near Moscow. Yes. Yeah,
I'm still thinking about Chernobyl, to be honest with you, Gaina, when, as you know, sheep in Anglesey were said to have turned green, and Welsh lamb and other meats were banned, weren't they? Yes. As a result of that Chernobyl disaster.
Do you remember that my first child, Robert, he was 6 weeks old, and I was extremely hormonal and wound up when I heard that news. Yeah. And it did prove pretty terrifying, didn't it?
It did. Yes.
I just wonder if this atomic power station is still in operation.
What, on Minsk?
The one that you're talking about now.
Yes, I've got lots of facts and figures about it. Obninsk. It's got it did have a net electrical output of 5 megawatts, would it? It's capital MW. Anyway, in 1956, the first commercial nuclear power plant called a Hall in England was then introduced. But of course, it's very topical, isn't it? Because we've got Hinkley Point, 20 miles from us?
That's right, and somebody suggested, you remember, the ridiculous idea that we were going to be in a nuclear-free zone or something like that, you know. And the Hinkley Point is being built across the water there.
Well, yeah, I always used to turn my, close my windows when I went past Llewelyn, and then someone said, "Did you turn the fan off in your car?" Anyway, we've got to live with the world as it is, haven't we, unfortunately, or fortunately, perhaps?
Well, fortunately.
Well, what else happened in this day in history? The world's first ATM was installed in Enfield in London in 1967. Do you remember that, guys?
No. No, I remember cash machines coming into Swansea later than that. But, you know, I think that it's been on the news today about that and saying, oh, you know, how it's revolutionised the world and all the banks closing. But the thing that they never touch on is some people still take cash in shops and so on. You can't bank that in an ATM, can you? Still got to have banks to bank money.
But apparently only 40%.
One cafe on today that's cash-free.
Yeah.
They only take electronic payments.
Those that still take cash, they've still got that problem.
But only 40% of transactions now are with cash. What about you? You're contactless, Robert?
Well, I'm a cash man. I know it's a pain for some people, and you ask politely, do you take cash? Do you still take cash? When you go for a meal, for example, how many people today pay by credit card? You know, so it's a bit of a novelty when you ask for the bill and put the money down in.
Trouble is, it's so easy to spend money with a card, isn't it? I'm not contactless, so I
use that. No, I guess
you do you? Yeah. I'm a bit worried about that. I think,
I've seen it in the shops now. You can actually buy wallets that stop you actually reading contactless, so they don't steal it when you're abroad.
Really? Yes. But it's a bit like accidentally putting your hand up in an auction, isn't it? Buying something, and if you've got one of these cards, you can swipe it past. When you're on your rambles, guys, do you use cards or cash?
It depends, we either. I mean, if we stop for refreshments, I usually cash then, because we're only talking about a few pounds spent. You could take cards, I say you would take cards.
I don't think the barman would like it if we handed over a card for a pint.
I don't know, a lot of places you see people doing that, younger people using cards for just sort of £3 or £4.
I thought you couldn't use them for less than £5 or something because of the charges.
It's up to the retailer, really, because they get charged for the use of it. They have to pay a fee to set up a business.
Anyway, where have you been lately?
Okay, I want to talk about the long weekend we had away, the weekend before last. We stayed in Haverfordwest in order to do the final series of Irish films.
Didn't stay at my bed and breakfast, anyway.
Well, I didn't know about that.
I think we can see where you went.
I think we probably can. The weather was absolutely perfect. So we started off, we caught the bus to Pembroke Dock. This is walking towards the Cleddau Bridge, the Cleddau. Well, you can see what a splendid day it was. If anything, a little bit hot, but hey, it didn't matter. We just took our time. And then further on, we'll cross the fields, beautiful countryside. Never see any other walkers.
Where are you there now? Where is that?
That is nearer to Haverfordwest, I think.
Clearly,
so I'm not very familiar with that area. One of the Cleddau on the right there, yeah. And then further on, this was another day, then we were walking up towards Letterston, I think, at that point, crossing one of the old bridges there. But, you know, the weather was, well, you couldn't wish for better. And there's various rock features you see when you're approaching Wolf's Castle in the distance there. I
always wonder what that's there for, but...
Well, we've got one of our walkers is a geologist, and he explained that how this was formed. It's Precambrian rocks which are forced up through tectonic plates colliding and forced up through sort of fissures in the ground at key points, and then it's all been eroded.
Lots of myths and legends attached. Because I can see that from my B&B.
Yeah. So, well, the thing is, we have people like that on our walks, and they offer their advice, and he explained it in very simple terms.
Okay, so from Letterston, where did you go then?
We went the following day. Then we walked from Letterston to Fishguard. Caught the bus to Letterston. Most of us are old enough to have bus passes, but caught the bus from there, and we walked to Fishguard. Lovely day again in Fishguard, and then caught the bus back to Haverfordwest. So the end of a really good long weekend.
Oh, so you didn't actually go across to Ireland?
No. I joked with the leader about doing that, but of course that's a different matter then.
No, he can't walk on water again.
No, I tried.
My husband and I did that when we were young on our bikes. We got down by the dock of the port in Fishguard and looked at the hill going back up, and we thought, let's go to Ireland, so we did. When you're young, you can do stuff like that, can't you?
Well, that particular day, actually, this is unusual. It was a hot day, and there's a fish and chip shop selling fish and chips on one half and ice creams on the other. Well, I went for the ice creams, but my partner went for the chips, but there we are.
And what did you go for?
Well, we did a different walk then. We did the Brisellis, and we had a nice coach the same day that you were doing your Irish Ferry. And last Saturday then, we had the National Ramblers Roadshow in Swansea. Oh. And we have some video of the walk that I led after that.
Well, we'll have to see that again, but thanks anyway. I'm determined to go on these walks one of these days. Next, Robert and Captain Beany are going to be looking at today's papers, and I hope you're going to involve me. There's lots to talk about. So.
Indeed, indeed.
Welcome back to Today on BayTV. I'm Gaina Morgan, with me is Robert Llewelyn-Jones, and Captain Beany has joined us.
Good afternoon, both.
Good afternoon. We're going to look at today's papers. I can't stop looking at Captain Beany.
The future is bright, the future is orange.
President of the English-speaking Union.
I think we were going to start with this shock news, really, about the circuit project.
Well, I don't know whether it's a shock news, Gaina. I think there were many people who didn't really see it coming off.
But there was £9 million spent by the Welsh
government
on just the planning.
A feasibility study, yes, and I mean
that's an awful lot of money.
Well, you see, people are. I suppose the Welsh government are desperate to try and create jobs for people, and however harebrained the scheme is, that they will perhaps give it some kind of credence.
I think we've got we could see what we're not going to have in a minute. I think a drive-through of what the circuit would have involved. So you agree with Ken Skates, do you? He says extensive and detailed due diligence by external experts has shown that due to the way the deal's structured, the Welsh government could be exposed to more than 50% of the risk.
Well, of course. And that 50% of the risk would be hundreds of millions of pounds.
But what I think, are we going to see the drive-through so we can see what we would have had and not going to have? Pretty impressive. But 425 million pounds it would have cost, and I suppose the Welsh government were quite right. What do you think, Captain Beany? Like that in Aberavon?
Yeah, this incredible amount of money that is just been thrown away, like frittered away, and without any feasibility studies going into it. And yeah, I quite agree with you. I mean, if there's any outlay that people can actually utilise the land now, all well and good.
Well, they're going to have. The Welsh government have offered them now an automotive centre, and that's going to cost £100 million over 10 years, I believe, and they're going to hopefully that will find 1,500 new jobs, which I think is a better proposition.
Yeah, indeed.
You know,
it's sounder footing.
You know that area. I mean, imagine what it's like there in winter, you know. I know I'm from Merthyr. Yeah. I know you're almost at the highest point of the Heads of the Valley Road.
Yeah, indeed, yeah.
You know, it's a desperate place.
Well, we don't need anything like that in this part of the world because we've got you, Captain Beany.
Oh, thank you ever so much.
And you've been in the news, haven't you? Because you've got your very own award.
Yeah, it's incredible to think that my Bigby Museum was established in January 2009 and opened accordingly by no other than Danny Wallace, who wrote Yes Man and made it into a visual film. And someone came up to me just tentatively and just said, do you know what? There's something called online called TripAdvisor. Now, I didn't know what the TripAdvisor was, so I looked into it, and lo and behold, it features people's experiences in hotels and special attractions and so forth.
You've got to show us the award while you're talking. Yes. So
basically, what I did indeed do is went on TripAdvisor, and apparently there's some establishment, whereas upon you have to be involved with any physical attractions for the best part of a year. And come June, totally out of the blue, they just said, Captain Beany, your Bigby Museum of Excellence is now Certificate of Excellence. So I'm really up there.
Who needs the Circuit of Wales? Bit of light entertainment there before we get back to the serious stuff.
I wonder how you define that word trip. What kind of trip were these people? There we are. That's
perhaps we should get back to the more serious stuff. The deal between Theresa May and Arlene Foster. It's ironic, isn't it? We all thought that the two main ladies were going to be Theresa May and Nicola Sturgeon, and here's Arlene Foster's sort of come in and...
Yeah. And it's interesting because the Telegraph uses the word bung. That she's given them a £1 billion bung. I thought that was a term used for football managers, when they enter into negotiations with other clubs over players and God knows what.
Nothing quite.
Is there much difference?
Well, I don't think there is. I mean, some papers use the word bribe, which is, I think...
And we wouldn't do that here on BayTV, would we?
Well, we wouldn't, no. we would what we would use, Gaina, we can't broadcast. So
but what are we going to have in Wales? Because I think it's been suggested we should have 1.7 billion. Who suggested that?
Well, perhaps we should have a revision or a review of the Barnett formula. The money we get from government, which is based on the Barnett formula. But I think that there are all kinds of pitfalls in this gift of £1 billion to a party of Old Testament prophets.
And of course, it's being taken very seriously across the world. I mean, the Australians have been leading their TV agenda with it, haven't they? Shall we see something?
I have just been to see Her Majesty the Queen, and I will now form a government.
Pull the other one.
I have a plan.
The government should call a general election.
Do your worst.
Let us remove the risk of uncertainty and instability. Strengthen my hand when I negotiate for Britain in Europe. Britain simply will not get the right Brexit deal if we have the drift and division of a hung parliament.
Cut that out! Cut that out!
I had wanted to achieve a larger majority.
But you can't expect to wield supreme executive power.
We're the party that won most seats and most votes.
Well, I didn't vote for you.
What are you doing now?
What I'm doing now is actually getting on with the immediate job. I'll be meeting with my cabinet tomorrow.
We're knights of the round table, we dance where we're able.
On Tuesday, I will be going to France for meetings with President Macron.
Hello?
It's about building a new, deep and special partnership with our European friends and neighbours.
Very clever, isn't it? Puts you in the shade, Captain Beany.
Oh, that technology at its best, isn't it? You know?
Very, very clever. Very poor taste, of course, Robert Llewelyn.
Well, I don't know. If Mrs. May has put herself in this position, hasn't she?
Well,
She didn't have to call an election. She read it all wrong. I noticed that on Sunday, I believe, Corbyn, was it, at Glastonbury?
Yeah, he was,
Yes.
dressing the masses there,
Yes,
you know, with the younger element.
He made a political speech on the pyramid stage, didn't he?
Yeah, that never
I couldn't see Theresa May.
No.
You know, she's more the running through a wheat field.
Want the Prime Minister really to be in Glastonbury?
Running through a wheat field, you know, that. No, I don't think that has much. What?
Anyway.
You may have, Gaina. Probably chased.
In fairness, David Davis did say that it was a collective decision. He had advised her to call an election, and so had most of the members of the cabinet. So we keep saying she, but it's a story that's going
to. Some Cardinal Richelieu behind the arras there, isn't he? Waiting for the eminent screes, waiting for the.
It's a story that's going to run and run. Anything else caught your eye today?
Well, whatever. Prince Harry has been in the news again. His girlfriend, I believe, is coming over to see him, and I don't know quite what's going to come of that. I'm sure
There's been a lot of controversy, hasn't there, about how open the two princes have been about their innermost feeling now in the 20th anniversary year. What do you feel about that?
Of Princess Diana's passing,
Yes, I think it's quite healthy that they've been more open. Anyway, Welsh Stories, our favourite Dylan Thomas, one of his family homes is up for sale again. I think we've got that in the Western Mail, haven't we?
Where?
In Larne.
Or the boathouse?
No, it's not the boathouse. It's the family home, lovely Georgian home, apparently. Have you got a picture of that? It's a lovely Georgian house for sale. You've got a cool sort of 650,000 or so. I mean, you could.
Perhaps that's on TripAdvisor, I take it.
There we are. No, it's up for sale in Larne there.
All right. I wonder where he got the money from to buy that. Because, or get the mortgage.
And it must have been much easier to bring up children in that house than in the boathouse, really, isn't it?
Yeah, you're quite right,
Yes, I think it must have been very difficult for Caitlin sometimes. Yeah. Right, anything else in the papers for us today?
Have we got anything on the Richard Burton's family? Have you seen that?
Got a lovely piece, haven't we? Looking back in the Evening Post.
A school in Port Talbot, I believe.
And there's a lovely picture of him with his family. We've got this picture looking back in the Evening Post. Anyway, there is, I don't know if we could see that. We can't see it clearly enough, can we? But there's a charming picture, really, of Richard Burton, there we are, and Elizabeth Taylor, when she used to come to visit Pontrydyfen, didn't she?
That's right, yeah.
Oh, yes, she came to stay in Pontrydyfen, yes. She came with him on several occasions. In fact, I believe, there was an occasion where she came to Aberavon.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Liz Cairns will be in next.
Welcome back to Today on BayTV. I'm Henry Darby Cook. Next to me is Liz Cairns. Gaina's handed over the reins and we're now joined by Kieth Milward. How's it going, Kieth?
Fine, actually. Thinking holidays at the moment. So just wondering, have you got holidays arranged this year, Henry?
Liz?
Oh,
yes,
sorry,
I
Liz.
have.
Yes, ladies first.
Yes, I have. I've begun Spain at some point.
Oh, lovely. Oh,
Yes.
have a wonderful time.
Hopefully no
where in
sharks.
Spain? Where in Spain? Oh, no sharks.
Costa Brava.
Cost a lot.
It did, but it's all inclusive, so I shall enjoy.
That's the best, isn't it? To just kind of chill.
Yeah.
I'm going to Mauritius with my family and my partner for 10 days. So, yeah. Be nice.
Both sound more exotic than mine. Off to
Where
Ireland, Northern Ireland now, within the next few days, actually. Yes, yes. So, and the Grand Theatre's putting me in the mood because they've got the rhythm of the dance there on Wednesday night. You know, so this is world-class Irish dancing, and it's mesmerising how they can kick their legs so high.
I love Irish dancing.
Isn't it wonderful?
Shall we have a little look at the trailer?
Oh yes,
let's do it. Wow.
So energetic.
Great, it's absolutely great, isn't it?
Yeah.
We were talking about Michael Flatley while we were watching that, and he sort of brought Irish dance to the world stage, really, hasn't
it's
he?
the inspiration for most people.
Yes. But in the Grand also this week, there's a tribute to Freddie Mercury and Queen. That's on Friday night, and that's called Mercury. And promises all the hits of Queen with Radio Gaga and We Will Rock You, We're the Champions, etc. And over the weekend, and Friday and Saturday actually, there's the first Hippo on the Moon, David Walliams' book brought to the stage. So it's for the little ones really, and all family members who'd enjoy it, and that's from suggested from the age of 3 up. You know, so that's different showings, different timings, and I realise it's that there are morning and afternoon matinees, so best to look at the Grand Theatre website for that. Up the road down in Cardiff, there's a few things going on because of the good weather. The open air season is here, and in Cardiff, in the Sophia Gardens, they have the Everyman Theatre, currently Spamalot, inspired by the Monty Python team that's playing until Saturday. And then there's the Vicar of Dibley, there's the Scottish play, the Shakespearean Scottish play, which as an actor I'm not supposed to mention. So answers on the postcard, please, isn't it? And then there's Hello Cabaret as well, they are there, as well as Aladdin Junior. So that's throughout the next few weeks. So best to look at the Everyman Theatre Cardiff website for all those details. And something which I'm really looking forward to, in fact I'm going to be seeing it tonight, it's the Jane Eyre that's come from the National Theatre. It's also in cahoots with the Bristol Old Vic, and the clips look stunning, so I'm hoping that we can share that with you.
Yeah, we've got a clip, let's have a look.
I have a few words to say regarding you. This little girl is a castaway, not of the true flock. You must be on your guard against her, for this girl is a servant of the evil one.
I must have liberty, and if I cannot have liberty, then I must have change.
Jane! You're like a frantic bird tearing at its own feathers.
I am no bird, and no net ensnares me.
I must admit, Jane Eyre is one of my favourite books and certainly one of my favourite films, so I would personally love to go and watch that myself.
It looks fantastic, all that fire as well, doesn't it?
So dramatic.
Yes, it's a Rochester, and I have to, as I say, very much looking forward to that. That's playing at the Wales Millennium Centre until Saturday. And then, of course, I always look forward to the Talking Pictures films, that the films shown in along with the magazine programmes on BayTV. And I suppose my highlight of the week, it's a children's film which is so popular, it's been so popular, Tarka the Otter, and it's reminiscent of The Ring of Bright Water. It's all about the wildlife feature film, so it'd be rather nice to be reminded of that as well.
Yeah, we've got a clip, let's have a little look.
Henry Williamson's world-famous novel, Tarka the Otter, is a hauntingly beautiful, sometimes savage story about the joyful water life of an otter, one of the most secretive yet lovable of God's creatures. Now, this true-to-life adventure comes to the screen with a cast of irrepressible wild beings and some human beings, too. Man, who hunts for sport with bloodthirsty hounds, is the relentless enemy of Tarka the Otter and his much persecuted tribe. The camera's eye puts you right into the intimate world of Tarka and his friends, which is full of surprises. Because unlike tame human actors, they stubbornly refuse to follow scripts.
Sorry, it was so comical, oh bless them.
Laughing at the duck on the ice and then they're falling off.
I can imagine the children enjoying it and learning things as well.
Oh yes, it's beautiful. Wildlife adventure film, because that's Friday, 2 o'clock.
Never point at an otter.
Oh, is that what they say?
Apparently so. But Peter Curtis, our boss, constantly tells a story where if you point at an otter, he will bite your finger off.
Oh, no. Well, that's a good tip, isn't it?
It is a good tip.
Before they take my tip of the finger, isn't it?
I think I hear that story on a weekly basis.
Oh, good grief. It's ingrained in your brain as you'll never do it.
Well, this afternoon's film is Crooked Sky, and that's about an American detective and working alongside Scotland Yard on a murder case. So that's going to be great, 2 o'clock. And tonight, then, it's the night of the Big Heat, a 1967 science fiction
Let's have a little look.
Yes.
That's funny. See, that makes me laugh, like the otter makes you.
There we are. Yes, the night of the Big Heat. But that's starring famous names, Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. I really like them in horror films. So that is one I'd very much like to watch. So that's at 10 o'clock tonight. And on tomorrow night and Wednesday night, 10 o'clock, is The Beast in the Cellar. They do have these horror films that we've forgotten about on Talking Pictures, and they're great. And again, a very good cast with Beryl Reid and Flora Robson, 1970 film. And that's a sort of a simmering horror film. You know, I don't know, not too much in your face, but that's great. And there's musicals to look forward to, 2 o'clock on Thursday. It's great to be young. young, but you both know this. I'm still trying hard. So that's at 2 o'clock on Thursday, and midnight on Thursday is the well-known Audrey Hepburn film Charade.
Oh,
yeah,
it amazes me how many classics we show on BayTV. Obviously at 2 o'clock every weekday on the nights and the weekend. There's so much going on.
Yes.
Well worth tuning in and watching.
Definitely.
And there's
such an array as well.
Yes, and something for everyone, because again on Friday night, 10 o'clock, a football film.
Right.
Yesterday
Hero. I have to leave you now, though. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
Thank
Have
you.
a lovely holiday.
And after the break, we'll be handing back over to Gaina.
Welcome back to Today on BayTV. I'm Gaina Morgan and we're going to be talking to Sam Cooch. But before we have a chat with Sam, let's hear some more great music from him. Sam?
Nothing, 'cause we got the fire and it's burning one hell of a something. They gotta see some outer space, light it up like we're the sons of the human race. When the lights turn it down, they don't know what they heard. It's like the march played loud, giving love to the world. They'll be raising our hands, shining up to the sky. 'Cause we got the fire, 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 yeah, we got the fire, fire, fire. And we're gonna let it burn, 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 burn. 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 We're gonna let it burn, 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 burn. We're gonna let it burn, 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 burn. We're gonna let it burn, 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 burn. We're gonna let it burn, burn, burn. One thing, I don't know why, it doesn't even matter how hard you try. Keep that in mind, I designed this rhyme to remind myself how I tried so hard. Despite the way you mocking me, acting like I was part of your property, remembering all the times you fought with me. I'm surprised they got so things aren't the way they were before. You wouldn't even recognize me anymore. Not that you knew we got them, but it all comes back to me in the end. I kept everything inside, and even though I tried, it all fell apart. What I meant to me will eventually be a memory of a time I tried so hard and got so far. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had to fall to lose it all. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. Na 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 na. Ooh. Na 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 na. Ooh. All that she wants is another baby. She's gone tomorrow, but all that she wants is another baby. Yeah. All that she wants is another baby. She's gone tomorrow, but all that she wants is another baby. Yeah. Beep bop 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 bop. Beep bop 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 bop. Beep do 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 do. Dee do 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 do. Beep 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 do 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 do.
Oh, I enjoyed that. Sam, come over and have a quick chat with me. I must say, it's just so, I don't know, really relaxing. I'd quite forgotten I was doing a programme. Sam, you're from Llewelyn.
I am, yes.
Yes, all the best people come from Llewelyn if they don't come from Pyle. Now, where'd you get your inspiration?
I don't know. My whole family is sort of musical. My father, really, but he plays totally opposite styles to me. He's a heavy metal sort of guitarist, whereas I take up off more of my uncle with the acoustic and stuff. My inspiration's mainly sort of like Ed Sheeran, anyone like that, really.
And you write your own stuff, obviously?
Yeah, I write my own stuff. It just doesn't get recognised, really.
But you've been more recognised since you're on BayTV a month or so ago.
Yes. I do get a little bit more recognition. I get a little bit more gigs. I have more other artists asking to me accompany them.
So why is that?
Where?
Why?
They, I don't know, they just want to collaborate on a few of these songs. Some of them, one girl has approached me asking if I can help her put songs into key that best suits her voice, because everyone's got a different register. I'm pretty good with transposing songs into different keys for it to best suit.
And you put together a video, haven't you?
Yes, we've made a few. We had 3,800 views on Facebook.
Wow. That's amazing.
From All About That Bass by Megan Trainor, but the cover we copied only had 1,100 views. So
that's the way of the world, isn't it? Now, I'm told you're really good at mashups, but nobody's explained to me what a mashup is.
When I learn a song, I hear other songs being played. So I put other songs into that song. I just play the same chords, just sing the different songs over the same chords. And yeah, I think my record is probably about 13 or 14 songs into one.
Oh, that takes some doing.
Yeah.
So where can we come and see you next?
I'm in the Heist.
Oh, right. When's that?
On Friday. It's an open. It's like a summer jam night my friend has put on. One I did the video with. It's just a charity night, really. But that's on Friday at 9 o'clock, I believe, in the Heist across the road.
And where after that? You play locally a lot?
Yeah, I'm doing the Resolven Carnival on Saturday as part of the Ross Pulliston Trio. I'm also a drummer in an acoustic trio. And I'm in the Castle Hotel in Neath on Sunday.
Plenty of opportunities to see around and about the region then.
Yeah.
Great, well, we're going to hear some more music from you.
Awesome.
Yeah, so if you'd like to go and set yourself up again, and thanks for joining us and chatting to us. I've learned a lot more today now. I know all about mashups, which I didn't know before. Anyway, thanks, Sam. Take it away. And thanks to all our guests today and for all our viewers, and especially for those who've tuned in for today's film, which is The Crooked Sky and stars Wayne Morris. So with that, Sam, take it away.